In today's video, I'm going to show you how to work up this beautiful 3-round crochet border. I call it the crown border, and in this example, I've worked it in 3 different colors, but you can work it in 1 color, 2 color, or 3 colors. This is a super simple crochet border pattern that you can work up on a fleece blanket like I've done here, or just use it to finish off any crochet project. My name's April and you're watching Crafting in the Night. Let's go ahead and get started with this border. Now before you get started with this border, whether you're working it on a fleece blanket like I am here or on a crochet project that you've just finished, you will want to start off with a base row of even stitches. This could be single crochets, half double crochets, double crochets, but it's really great for this pattern to just have an even row of stitches to which we could work round 1, round 2, and round 3 of this border. If you're not sure how to do a fleece blanket like the one I've shown here, check the description. I'll leave a link to a video tutorial I filmed on that process, and I'll also link it at the end of this video. Let's get started. To get started with this border, you want to make sure that you have a nice even edging. In this case, I used a half double crochet for this project, but it could be a single crochet or double crochet, but you want a nice even edge, at least for the first time you're working the project. In this case, I have 3 half double crochets into the corner. I'm going to find my corner stitch and then count back 3. 1, 2, 3. And this is where I want my first stitch to be placed. So I'm going to take my yarn color for my first round of my border, insert my hook, make a slip stitch, insert my hook, and again, here's the center, count back 1, 2, 3, insert my hook, and yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's a single crochet, and now I'll go straight into a double crochet into the corner. So yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'll do another double crochet into that same spot, chain 2, and then work 2 double crochets right back into that same corner stitch. From here, I'll skip 2 single crochet into the next, skip 2, and work 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into that stitch, skip 2 single crochet in the next. I'll continue repeating this until I'm most of the way down my blanket, and I'll meet you back as I get towards the end of the blanket. Because of the way that we're skipping stitches, this does have a stitch multiple, but if you're like me, I didn't pay attention to the number of stitches I have on each side of this blanket. So I'll show you how we can adjust to make sure that when we get to the other corner that we're able to work one of these cluster stitches into the corner as we've done here, and that'll keep the project even for round 1. So I'll meet you back when I get closer to the end to show you how we'll plan for that. So to ensure that I'm going to be able to place one of these repeats, a double crochet, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the corner. Once I'm nearing my corner, and I'm about 2/3 of the way down on this side, so I have about 1/3 of the way left, I'm going to look at my 3 stitches here, and then I want to find my middle stitch, which is this one. Then I want to start counting back. So I'm going to have doubles in here, 1, 2, a single in here, 1, 2, a double, 1, 2, a single, 1, 2, double, 1, 2, single, 1, 2, double, 1, 2, single, 1, 2, double, 1, 2, single, 1, 2, double. So I know that I need a double crochet in this stitch, and I have 3 stitches left. So that's probably too much of a gap. So what I like to do instead is I'll work 1 more stitch, but instead of stitching, so I've worked a single, instead of skipping 2 to form my next double cluster, I'll skip just 1. So I'm going to skip one and work my 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then skip 2 and single crochet. And then again, I'll repeat that kind of process, just counting. You could either count forward or count back. So skip, skip, doubles, skip, skip, single, skip, skip, double, 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 skip. So now I have too many. So I need to do that again. So I'm going to skip one and work my double crochets, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and I'll continue this skip one at the beginning, not on both sides. So whenever I skip one at the beginning, I'm still going to skip 2 at the end so that they're not too closely spaced together. But I'm going to continue to do that for as many clusters as necessary until my repeat's right. So skip, skip, double, skip, skip, single, skip, skip, double, skip, skip, single, skip, skip, double, skip, skip, single, skip, skip, double, skip, skip, single. So that would get me at a single in the corner, which is not what I want. So it looks like I need to do this at least 2 more times. So I'm going to skip one and work 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in this one, and I'll do that one more time. So skip 2 on the back end, single, and again, normally we would skip 2 here, but because I'm trying to make the repeat come out correctly, I'm just going to skip 1 and work my double, the double chain 2, 2 doubles part of the pattern. And here, let's see, before I put in my single, where we're at. So single, skip 2, so skip, skip, single, skip, skip, double, skip, skip, single, skip, skip, double, skip, skip, single, skip 1, double. So that's almost perfect. I think if I just only skip 1 here, I'd be good, or I can do one more of the where I skip 1. So again, I don't like to skip just 1 and 1 on either side of a cluster, so I'll go ahead and skip 2 here and single, and then I believe if I do one more where I just skip 1, that'll put me at the right repeat. This first row is the only row that you have to kind of play with it like this. I'll put the stitch multiple on the screen. There is an actual stitch multiple that you can use if you wanted this to come out absolutely perfect without kind of having to adjust it as I'm doing here. But for this, especially because I did fleece, each side has a different stitch count and it's easier just to adjust here. So again, let me just double check. If I were to do skip, skip, single, skip, skip, double, skip, skip, single, and then skip, skip, double puts me right into the corner. So let me go ahead and complete this as the pattern is written now. So skipping 2, double crochet cluster in the next. That's a little too loose. Let me tighten that up. Chain 2, 2 double crochets in the same spot. Skip 2, single crochet, skip 2, and now we wind up perfectly in that corner for our 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. I'll continue to make that adjustment and work my way down. So skip 2, single crochet, and I'll meet you back when I'm ready to finish off this first round of this border pattern. Once you've completed your last shell, you'll go ahead and just slip stitch into the top of that single crochet, yarn over and pull through both loops, and then yarn over, cut your end, which I've already cut off here, Just pull that tail through to secure it. If you are not changing colors at this stage, instead of finishing off like I've done here, you would simply slip stitch, chain 2, and then work your 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the next space. You'll want to get started with the slip stitch. Insert your hook, and then you'll want to find any single crochet spot and join with a slip stitch. Then you'll chain 2, and you'll work our pattern, the same pattern of 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, all into that chain 2 space. Chain 2, slip stitch into the single crochet, chain 2, and for the corner, it's the same thing as every other stitch. You're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. And then chain 2 and slip stitch into the single crochet. You'll repeat this all the way around. When you get back to your starting slip stitch, you'll just slip stitch back into that space one more time. And that is how we work row 2 of this border pattern. I'm at the last stitches that I need to work, so I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, place 2 double crochets into the top of this cluster below, chain 2, 2 double crochets back into that same space, chain 2, and then slip stitch again back into this same spot here. Now I'm going to cut my yarn, yarn over and pull through to secure. Now ideally before you start to work the last and final row, you'll weave in all of these ends, and that'll just make it easier, because as we do this next row, we're going to be working around this single crochet here. We're going to be working around this stitch here. So we'll work around here, we'll work around here, we'll work around here, and then we're going to work into the top. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. I'm going to use white for my final row, so I believe it complements this blanket nicely. I'll make a slip stitch, insert my hook. What I want to do is just slip stitch around the single crochet from row 1. So I'll insert my hook from right to left, or left to right if you're left-handed. So from right to left, around that hook, around that stitch rather, yarn over and pull through my slip stitch. Now I'll chain 2, slip stitch into that next space around the between the single crochet and the first double crochet of that round. Now I'll chain 3 and slip stitch on this chain 2 spot from round 2. I'll chain 3, and from here you could work any of a variety of things into the top of this stitch, but the way that this stitch is worked up from the pattern I got from the 1800s is you're going to double crochet and then form a picot by chaining 3 and single crochet in that first chain of your chain 3. Now I'll double crochet into the top again. Oops. Let's do that again. Double crochet, form another picot, so chain 3, single crochet into the first chain of that chain 3, double crochet into the space again, and one more picot. So I call this the crown border because it gives a nice crown effect. After this last picot, we'll place a double crochet back into the same space. And then we want to do the reverse of what we did on the way up. So we'll chain 3 and slip stitch into this chain 2 space here. Chain 3 again. Slip stitch around this space between the double crochet from row 1 and the single crochet. And sometimes it helps if you turn your work a little bit if you're having trouble getting into the spot. Then I'm going to chain 2 and slip stitch around that single crochet. So from right to left, going around that single crochet. All right, let's do that one more time. I'm going to pop some of this fabric into the background, hopefully to give us a little bit more contrast. All right, we slip stitched around the single crochet. We're going to chain 2, slip stitch into the space between the double crochet on row 1 and the single crochet. So I insert my hook under the whole stitch and peek back up through, slip stitch, now chain 3, slip stitch, and I typically slip stitch around the top, but I'm not going into this little hole here. I'm just going around the whole stitch. Slip stitch there, chain 3, double crochet into the chain 2 space at the top here. Then we want to work a picot, so we're going to chain 3 and then into the first chain of our chain 3 work a single crochet. Double crochet back into the chain 2 space, chain 3, and single crochet into the first chain of the chain 3. That's our second picot. Double crochet again, chain 3, single crochet into the first chain, and double crochet. Now we'll do the reverse of our way up on our way down. So we're going to do chain 3, slip stitch into the chain 2 space from row 2, chain 3, and again, if it makes it easier, turn your work a little bit, slip stitch in between the double crochet and the single crochet from row 1, chain 2, and slip stitch around the single crochet from the first row. And we'll just keep repeating like that, and it will get faster the more that you go, and pretty soon you'll work up the whole crown before you know it. Now I will say that this is kind of easy because you don't have to remember to do anything special for the corner. So when you get to the corner, it's just going to be the exact same stitch. and you'll continue working it all the way around. And what it winds up doing is giving this kind of nice, it could be a flower. You could think of this as a flower, or I look at it like a crown, but just a really nice kind of decorative edging for the blanket. I'll meet you back when I'm all finished to show you how we connect with the slip stitch to the starting slip stitch. But that's pretty much all you have to do for this pattern. I'm back here where I started. I've completed my last picot and double crochet. So I'll chain 3, slip stitch, chain 3, slip stitch, chain 2, and then you can slip stitch into the stitch if you can see it here, or I'll just slip stitch around. It won't be noticeable on the finished project, especially after we weave in our ends. And then our yarn over, pull through, and cut the end of my yarn, which I've already done. So I'll just pull that through. And now I've completed my border. I'll weave in these last 2 ends, and we're all done. But let's take a look at what this looks like. And it will curl up a little bit, but overall it's a really neat effect.